Good evening, my name is Robert Maddox, and I will be talking about concussions that sports athletes suffer in football. I'll also be talking about the issues that the NFL, NCAA, high school, and Pop Warner have to deal with. Sports injuries are common in football, but concussions are a major health issue over the years. According to a WebMD website, if a player sustains an head injury, repeatedly, it will result in a long-term brain damage known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, brain damage, which mimics dementia. This article also states that the symptoms are loss of consciousness, confusion, headaches, nausea and vomiting, and blurred vision. The article also states a quote from Mark Lowell that a minor hit on the field can take a long time to recover from. Former NFL players who have suffered from CTE are Chris Henry, Dave Durson, and Junior Seau. And also some of the ex-football players' families have sued the NFL over the health injuries that these players have had, including Junior Seau's family, who sued the NFL, stating that the reason why he committed suicide was direct result to the injuries he had suffered while he was playing. The NFL has also come up with a deal with these ex-NFL players. For example, on August 29, 2013, the NFL and the families of these ex-NFL players came to a deal stating that the NFL will pay $760 million that will fund concussion-related compensation, medical research, and medical exams for the ex-NFL players and their families. In 2011, the NFL came up with new rules to better protect their players. These new rules would determine if a player who received a concussion would be allowed to come back into a game or have to sit out the game. The guidelines for these were to check the player's symptoms of attention, memory, and balance. These guidelines and tests usually occurred on the sideline after a player received a big hit. According to a CNN website on NFL concussion, statistics showed that in 2012, the players suffered 261 concussions. In 2013, that decreased to 229. In 2014, it was 206, but that number increased in 2015 to 271. They also came up with new policies stating that they will enforce the new concussion rules. Teams who violated these rules were fined or they had their upcoming draft picks taken. NCAA also had to deal with concussion issues. According to their website, in May 2014, they spent $30 million to fund clinical studies of concussions and the impacts that occurred. They also stated that each school had to have a concussion management plan. This plan stated that when a player received a concussion, he will have to sit out a game or practice. And they also had an evaluation where a healthcare provider would determine if a player had to sit out for a long period of time or not. The NCAA also changed the rules during the game to provide a safer playing environment. For example, one of the rules was that the players could not initiate a head-to-head contact. As shown in some televised games, if a college player violated these rules, they were ejected from the game, penalized, suspended from the game, and their teams were penalized for it. High schools have also had to deal with these concussions. They are also trying to protect their student players better. For example, in the WebMD article, it stated that according to the American Academy of Neurology, athletes should not be allowed to participate in sports after he or she had received a concussion. And they needed to see their doctors before they were allowed to go back and play again. However, there was a huge problem in this. Some of the schools, including some of the college programs, did not have enough money to get the equipment needed to evaluate the players to see if they had concussions. Even though concussions are a big issue in the NFL, Even though concussions are a big issue in the NFL and college football and high school, Papa Warner also has dealt with these problems. With kids starting to play as early as age 6, the parents are worried and they wonder what is the right age for their kids to play football. Well, according to the CDC, kids should not be allowed to play football until the age of 14. The reason is because their brains are less developed than adult brains. And they have to change the rules. Like for Papa Warner, they had to change the way they teach their kids how to tackle each other. And they could not have head-to-head contact and blocking or tackling drills. And they had to cut the amount of contact in half. In conclusion, football is a sport that everybody loves to play, and the sports athletes that play the football, when they receive concussions, they don't want to tell anybody because they don't want to get taken out of the game or want to miss numerous amounts of time. However, I think for their own safety, they need to tell people when they get concussions, and they need to see their doctor before they are cleared to play.